Today I messed up by Watch the Maury Show with my dad. Plus, update. Original post. This was a week ago, but the results are being felt now. I had the day off and my father was working from home. I was watching the Maury Show when my father had came into my room to drop off folded clothes. He asked to watch with me, so we moved to the living room to finish the episode. They were talking about how both parents and 2 children had big ears. The test proved that the man was not the father. My father looked at my ears and noticed that mine were detached, while his are attached. We probably watched the show for 3 hours. I later noticed that everyone else in my family has attached ears besides me. My father started looking at me more and acting distant, and almost completely ignoring my mother, if not just to argue. Some context: I am the middle child and have darker and straighter hair than my family. So in family pics I do stand out a bit. Not like a black sheep, but a gray sheep. He broke down yesterday and asked to take a DNA ancestry test. He had only bought 2 just for the both us. He has never cried in front of me, so I took the test right away. He begged me not to tell my mother, and that regardless of the results, he will love me. My parents were off and on until my birth. I also know I was a surprise baby, and I'm what brought my parents back together. Again, the most shocking thing is that my father never cries or is even emotional. To see him crying, sad, and actually scared has literally broke me. Now, for the update. I am very sorry for the wait. However the results are in, he is my father. The tension was massive in the house after the tests were sent. It wasn't intentional, and my mother and younger brother were just clueless why. These past 2 weeks, the tension has dropped and things have been getting better. The vibe is coming back, essentially. When we got the result, my father told me he didn't care about the results and would only see them if I wanted to see them. I just said we have already waited this long. He assured me he would change regardless of the results. The thing is that we did our test on Ancestry, and right away it showed my father and my older brother. Monday he came over. He asked why I tried Ancestry in private. I just said I was curious on how much of a minority I was. He laughed and just walked away. I'm not sure if he saw my dad on there or if my dad saw him. I didn't see them or hear them talk about it either. But why ask? Who cares at this point? Story 2. Updated. Should I, 45M, let my ex-wife, 45F, move in with me after our divorce? Original post. This is a throwaway account. Too much personal stuff on my main. All names are fake, of course. I'm a 45-year-old man. Divorced with 1 daughter, Lily, 18. My ex-wife, Thelma, also 45, and I split 2 years ago after 20 years of marriage. I will admit that I was not, am not, nor will I ever be, perfect. I do like to think I was a good husband and am a good father. While married, I did my best, trying to keep up with the majority of the housework. 60-40 split on that, with me doing the most, while working 40-50 hours per week. I tried to be attentive and caring, never forgetting anniversaries, birthdays, and so on. I did let my body go a bit as the years went by, and I admit that I am not the most exciting guy in the world. Still, I listened to my wife and did what I thought she wanted, needed, to keep our marriage happy. Thelma seemed happy with me and bragged to her friends, saying I was a good husband. I suppose that was a lie, as Thelma decided she wanted to get railed by some 30-year-old guy she met at her job. When I caught Thelma, I did not try a pick-me dance, suggesting therapy or any of that. I opted to divorce, pressing a cordial termination of our marriage. For the sake of our daughter, I remained civil and calm. Thelma was angry that I did not fight to save the marriage, but agreed to a peaceful split. The divorce was quick, and Thelma left with 75% of our savings and her car. I kept our house, my old truck, 25% of our savings, and assumed all debt. Custody was 50-50. Our daughter decided to stay with me, with her mother getting visitation. Lily, while still underage, was free to visit her mother whenever. I'm very proud of my girl and know she can make good informed decisions on her own. Thelma moved into an apartment with her affair partner, Larry. That was about 2 years ago. Since then, I have lost the extra weight I put on, 30 rublevs, and have dated some. Nothing serious, as I have no desire to ever marry again. Once bitten, twice shy, and all that. That brings us to this week. Last night, I got a call from Lily that Thelma was in the emergency room a couple of days ago. From what I have been told after our divorce, Larry began to show his true nature, starting with verbal and emotional abuse. Several weeks ago, it turned physical. Tuesday, Larry went further than slaps, seriously hurting Thelma. Without going into details of her injuries, it was enough for the ER to keep Thelma overnight and for charges to be pressed on Larry, even if Thelma didn't ask. Thelma has nowhere to go, and her funds are all but gone due to her spending since our divorce. The apartment she was in Larry's name, so she cannot go back there. She is currently staying in a cheap hotel room, but will have to leave in the next couple of days due to lack of money. Her father passed 6 years ago, and her mother is in an assisted living home. Her sister lives 600 miles away, and Thelma cannot move due to her job. She has no close friends that can take her in. Our daughter lives in a dorm, so Lily cannot let Thelma stay there. Unless she can find someone willing to take her in soon, Thelma will be homeless or in a shelter. Lily called me to ask if I would be willing to let Thelma stay with me until Thelma is able to find an apartment or somewhere to go. I am, literally, the last hope Thelma has. Now to my problem. Should I open my home to let Thelma back in? I am not so cold-hearted as to enjoy Thelma's situation. I am closer to apathy, to be honest. Part of me wants to simply shrug and say, not my monkey, not my circus. Still, I know how bad Lily would hurt to see her mother suffering and on the street. I have talked to friends and family with answers ranging from, "You have room, so move her in," to "pay for her first month and deposit on an apartment," to "screw her and her ugly tattoo." There was one friend of mine that said, "Move her in and make her pay with booty." But he is the dumbass friend we all ignore. I am going to go ahead and try to head off what I am guessing will be questions people may ask. Thelma may have cheated, but she is a good mother. Thelma is not a narc or evil person. She is a human that did something selfish and stupid. I have forgiven her, but have not forgotten. There is zero chance that I end up back with Thelma. That ship sailed, ran into an iceberg, burst into flames, and was then attacked by a mechanical megalodon before it sank. Thelma has wanted to escape Larry for a long time, but did not have a chance until he was arrested. He is currently sitting in lockup, unable to post bail. She is getting some sort of protective order. I have no idea if they still work together. 4-hour edit. Thanks to all for your replies so far. I will be meeting with Thelma soon as her shift ends. We are going to Waffle House, and this will be the first real conversation I have had with her in over a year. I kept contact to text only and focused on Lily until now. I am also working on an option that will keep her from being homeless, but keep her out of my house. One other point. Some comments have assumed negative characteristics of Thelma that are not true. I do not hate this woman. I do not care for her, as I once did. But I do not hate her. She is an excellent mother, and aside from her affair, she was a good wife. Still, infidelity is not something I can have in my relationship, so I divorced her. My daughter understands and supports my decision to never rekindle my romance with Thelma. My sole goal is my daughter's well-being, and for that, nothing is off the table. Now for the update. Update. Years ago, my father bought a house for his younger brother, who has dealt with mental and physical issues his entire life. My father, in his later years, added my name to the deed to help ensure someone could keep a roof over my uncle's head. Now that my uncle is getting older and has retired, wants to move in with his sister and live a basement apartment at her house that will be perfect for him. The initial plan was for us to sell the house and give half the sell price to my uncle. Plans change. It cost me quite a bit, but I bought out my uncle's half of the property, removing him from the deed. I added Lily, my daughter, as an owner to the property, which now has my name and hers. Thelma signed a rental agreement and has moved in there, paying a small amount of rent. This takes care of Thelma's living situation, keeps her out of my house, and sets up Lily for the future with a place of her own, should she ever need one. Lily is extremely happy with this setup, knowing her mom is safe and has a place to live. The rent is little, far lower than market, but it covers insurance and other upkeep. Thelma is using her employer's assistance program for some therapy visits to deal with some mental health issues after living with Larry. I am 100% sure she is over him and will not be welcome in her life. Over the past 2 weeks, I have seen Thelma is a changed woman. I don't quite know how to word it, but she seems more thankful for what she has and less impulsive. More than anything, she seems focused on trying to fix her life. That leaves me. My kid is happy, and I got her primed for a good life. Yes, it cost. But it was just money. If it means I have to work a few more years, so be it. In the end, it will be worth it to give my princess the best launch into the world I can give her. A few days ago, I was in a minor accident, leaving me a little banged up. Thelma came over to cook for me, and we talked for quite a while. We discussed where we are at in our lives and so on. She is still a beautiful woman inside and out. I know people are quick to condemn cheaters to be branded with scarlet letters and to be beyond forgiveness. Granted, there are some terrible people out there that revel in infidelity. Thelma is not one of them. She is a good person that did something very, very selfish and stupid. She has paid for it. Both Lily and I have forgiven her. Time to move on. I had a question about what happens if Thelma starts dating again. Well, so what? She is not my wife anymore. We are not in any sort of committed relationship. She is free to date or not as she desires. As far as me and Thelma getting back together, the answer is no. I will never marry again. Anyone, for any reason. I am burned on the concept and will not bind myself to someone that way. I really don't think I want to be in a committed relationship either. No, I am not bitter. I am happy for the friends and family that I have in marriages and the like. But I cannot bring myself to get in that sort of situation again. At best, I may date casually or have a friend with benefit situation should the opportunity arise. Otherwise, I am solo.